For years now, writers of listicles and Reddit nerds have been talking about Marvel fatigue. Also for years, the Marvel train has showed almost no signs of slowing down, aside from some critical failures. They've continually made money and done alright with audience reviews, but I think we can all see the cracks forming. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania has reviewed terribly. We'll see how the box office goes. It really feels like the beginning of the end for the MCU. This movie is currently sitting at a 48% on Rotten Tomatoes critic score, which really feels like apathy more than anything. This movie isn't like offensively bad, it's just boring. Like the great Mike Stacklasa, I rate movies based on whether they make me miserable or not. And this movie didn't make me miserable, it just made me bored. Most of the movie, there's two storylines going on. It's Paul Rudd and his daughter, and then Michael Douglas, Evangeline Lilly, and Michelle Pfeiffer, like, running around. The plotline with Michael Douglas is nearly all exposition. This movie feels like 40% exposition, maybe only 30%, but still a significant amount. It all just seems like exposition for like the next phase of Marvel or whatever, which like who gives a fuck about? Just constantly things just being explained about the quantum realm, about Kang's backstory, just so much fucking exposition. And it's like, who cares? Just make an entertaining movie. You don't need to be setting up moves on your fucking chessboard for what the next 10 movies will be like. The action in this movie is terrible. It's all like shaky cam, a bunch of cuts, really no creativity in the action scenes. The special effects are astoundingly bad, the worst they've been in any Marvel movie. The whole movie takes place on like a green screen. I don't think they built like any sets for the movie, or really even any prop. All the aliens, which could be like fun costumes, or just like a person with a CGI head instead of some sort of animatronic or something. The movie feels flat, like the environments don't feel real. They feel like someone on a green screen because they don't really interact with the things behind them. There's like no sign of like the environment being real and having layers. It just seems flat. And the cinematography does not help with this. The cinematography is very flat in a lot of scenes. People on the internet have compared this to Spy Kids 3D and Shark Boy and Lava Girl. It does feel like it at times with the CG. MODOK even looks like Mr. Electric. And the post-credit scene has several Kangs in like wacky costumes that talk different. And it's so reminiscent of Sylvester Stallone in Spy Kids 3D, where he has the different aspects of his personality separated. Kang is possibly the least competent Marvel villain of all. He has so many opportunities to kill the main characters, or even try striking a deal at one point, but is super vague about everything and like won't actually go through with anything. It's like he's trying to convince them to join him without explaining his motivations at all, just being very vague, despite the fact that there's so much exposition. His motivations aren't really explained. Now I know he shows up in Loki, but I didn't watch that aside from the first episode. So there's also a large amount of scenes in this movie where it's like a villain is holding a gun at a bad guy, and then something happens and the bad guy hesitates and then they like defeat them. That happens about 15 times in a movie. Another thing that happens like 3 times in a movie, no hyperbole, is Kang leaving one of the characters with guards and then the characters immediately defeating the guards. Like I said, he's the least competent Marvel villain. What he does really makes no sense at all. And he has a bunch of one-liners that are just fucking terrible. They wanted to give him like cool like one-liners like Thanos. They fucking suck. The acting in this movie is also bad. But I mean, I can't even blame the actors. Everything in this movie is CG. They don't know what they're reacting to. They have no idea what's going on, and I doubt the direction they're getting is any good either. Sometimes they don't really know how to react to the situation they're in. They kind of just have like flat, you know, like faces. Sometimes they're smiling in parts where it seems like they shouldn't be. Yeah, this movie is boring. It's not like offensively bad. I hated Thor: Love and Thunder much more than this. That movie was like obnoxious and irritated the fuck out of me. But this one is just boring. You still shouldn't watch it. It's still not good, but it's not as bad as I thought it would be. Anyway, what's your favorite MCU movie? Are you also excited for the MCU to die? Because I sure am. Let me know in the comments below, and be sure to like and subscribe for more content. Bye bye!